So lower your expectations. So they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and it kind of means, you know, like me and Gabriel will go to a museum, we'll see a painting, and I'll say, wow, that's beautiful, and you kind of go, you don't like it, and you go, wow, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So it's like what one person finds beautiful, another person not so much. And so the focus is on beauty, but I want to talk about beholding beauty. That's kind of a concept, you know, that every person in this room at the moment and outside it has this secret beauty behind their eyes, and you want to see it. And you want to decide and choose to do that, to behold beauty in other people. It's a way of seeing, a little bit like what Stevie was saying the other day. You know, it's like the father who, his daughter, young daughter, gets the crayon, and a homie father who was, she was drawing on the living room wildly, and his wife says, aren't you going to tell her something? Do something. So he gets behind her and hugs her and points at the wall and says, that is a magnificent work of art. And that's what it means to behold and to see beauty where maybe you wouldn't have previously seen it. I was thinking the other day about my grandmother, who was, she died about 30 years ago when she was 93. She had 9 kids. When she died, she left behind 100 offspring. Kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, great-great. And she was this gorgeous combination of tough and tender. She was a woman of few words. When you went to go see her, when you started to walk away, she would, before she said goodbye, she'd reach into her bra and she'd pull out a $20 bill. And that's where I learned the secret handshake. You know, without the bra. And she was Alsatian, which means her family came from Alsace-Lorraine, which is kind of on the western edges of France, and it's kind of, they were German, and it was a very disputed area, is it German, is it French? And though she was born here in 1896 in Los Angeles, you know, I think she had kind of remnants of kind of certain oddities in terms of the way she would say words. Like, for example, she would never say spaghetti. She would always call it spurgetti. Like somehow there was an R in there. And she never said beautiful. She would always say beautiful, like that. In fact, once she looked at her plate and said, this spaghetti is beautiful. You know? And you know, when you slow that word down and suddenly it's beautiful, and you choose to see the secret beauty behind the eyes of everyone, and you see that they're full of beauty. Now, is that true of everyone? Yeah, that's true of everyone. And even when you don't exactly feel it in yourself, you can pull the favor right out of people, and suddenly people feel favorable. It's what they say is true. People won't always remember what you tell them, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And in the process, you are inhabiting your own beauty by beholding beauty in another. So years ago I did a quinceañera with 2 girls, cousins. And they both turned 15, and both families got together and said, let's have a big old bedo, you know, a big old pachanga, and we'll save money. And so it was a big, huge deal, you know, with the girls in their frilly dresses, and damas and chambelanes and padrinos. And the padrinos, one of those sets of padrinos walked in, and they had those 2 huge satiny pillows shaped like hearts with the girl's name embroidered on each one, and they put them on a step in front of the altar. And I never, you know, have them kneel during the thing, except at the final moment where they're being blessed by their parents and everybody's extending their hand. So when the thing was over, the mariachi started to play and everybody's filing out, and they're kind of, people are leaving the pillows. So I don't know, I saw this girl and this boy, little kids, and I said, come here, why don't you carry the pillows out? Well, the girl was kind of huffing and puffing and disgusted and embarrassed, and like this, but the guy was sort of, quite different. He was very giddy and out-of-body experience, and he was so thrilled to be called into action. So they both grabbed the pillows and they looked to me like, what do we do? I go, process out while the mariachis are playing. But before he went out, he turned to me and he held the pillow up and he said very loudly, "This is the size of your heart," he said. Well, I was startled by it, not just because my heart is punier than he could ever imagine. But I don't know how he did it. He sort of pulled the favor out of me. And for a moment you feel favorable, like a magician pulling a rabbit out of the hat. How do you do that? This is what you choose to do when you live here at Homeboy Industries. You go out of your way to see the secret beauty that's just behind the eyes of every human being here. And watch what happens to you when you become the beholder of beauty. Everybody discovers that they are magnificent works of art. Everyone discovers that they are beautiful. Amen. Jeanette, if you're